creator of Wild Wandering Creations, and I'm going to be taking you through the astrological forecast for the month of February. If you're new to the channel, here we explore movement, meditation, and now astrology. So before I get started with the astrological forecast, I just want to say right off the bat that this is my personal interpretation of what's happening in the sky. So if it looks different to you, that is totally cool, and I want to hear your perspective as well, because it's always interesting to hear another person's perspective of what's happening in the sky. So this is what I think, this is what I believe to be true, and some of my predictions might not come true, and some of them might, and that's cool. So just wanted to preface this video with that, and then with that being said, let's talk about how you can track your own transits and how you can follow along with your own natal chart. So if you go to astro.com, you can input your information. You just have to have the month, the day, the time of your birth, and where you were born. So as long as you have that information, you can go to astro.com, follow the instructions in the comment section below, and you'll have a better idea of how to track this. So if you look here, this is a transit chart, and the transit chart is basically what's happening in the sky right now. And this is going to change on a day-to-day basis, evenly on an hourly basis. Whereas your natal chart, that's what this is right here. This is my natal chart. This is a snapshot version of the sky and what it looked like the exact time you were born. This is never going to change. It's always going to stay the same. The planets and the houses that they're in are going to stay right there. Now to track those transits, you want to take that first natal chart and put it around yours, and then you'll start to see where the planets are interacting with each other and where they're falling in your chart. So now that you have that down, and if you have any questions, please pop it in the comment section below. I am happy to answer any of those questions because I want to help you track the energy of the sky with your personal energy. Okay. So February starts off with a little bit of a lighter energy than January. January had a lot going on. We had 2 planets retrograding, which are now coming to an end. So we can start to expect see things start to clear up a little bit more. So if there was any confusion, miscommunication, delays, anything that just wasn't feeling right, it'll start to kind of settle and become a lot clearer now. We also are experiencing the first month for a while with absolutely no planets retrograde, which is really exciting. So this will bring a little bit of a faster pace energy to February, as January was a little bit slower. So let's get right into it. We start off the month on February 1st with a new moon in Aquarius. This is such a refreshing energy. It brings almost a feeling of openness, a new beginning. And in the sign of Aquarius, we can expect to clarify our intentions for the future ahead and maybe set intentions for the month and how we want to feel. Now, the new moon energy being a new beginning, it helps us open our mind to new possibilities, but maybe not acting on it right away. Just starting to open up a little bit, starting to clarify a vision for our ideal future, and then maybe after setting those intentions, acting on it maybe a couple weeks later. This is a really good time to figure out how do you want to feel, and also what energy do you want to embody. So what is your ideal future? And think beyond what you think is possible. This is the beautiful energy of Aquarius. It's innovative, it's social change, it's liberation, but it's liberation and social change for all. So we're thinking about how our individual impact can impact the whole collective. How can we learn to blend with each other's energy, blend with each other's beliefs and perspectives? What do you want to bring to the table is basically what this energy is all about. So keep that open mind and clarify those visions for the future. Mars is also in an exalted position in Capricorn, which brings us drive and a positive attitude. So we have a lot of planets happening in the sign of Capricorn, which is more of a productive, persistent energy. So when we have our dreams and our goals and projects that we're working towards, Capricorn is that reminder that we have to slow and steady work towards these goals, and that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. So yes, it's productive energy, but remembering that it takes time to build something. So laying the groundwork for those intentions and what you want to see through in the future, but being mindful and patient that it's going to take time to actually come to full vision. Okay, so we have on February 3rd, Mars sextile Jupiter, and it's going to stay there for about a couple of days, so about February 6th. And this tends to be a very positive transit. So it opens up new opportunities. So the best thing that you can do is when you're looking at your chart, because it's happening in the signs of Capricorn and Pisces, look to where Capricorn and Pisces falls in your chart to see where you have the best personal growth and opportunities for you. Because where those falls in the chart, those are where those themes are going to kind of play out. And this transit also is going to help us make decisions from an original perspective. Again, it's all about opening your mind and kind of viewing things from a different side, maybe a different point of view. And that's not all. On February 3rd, we also have Mercury stationing direct in the sign of Capricorn, which is really exciting because the planet has been retrograde for the last 3 weeks. We are still going to have that post-shadow period, but anything that was surrounding around miscommunication or confusion, this is going to bring a lot of insight, and we're going to start to gain clarity. And because Mercury in retrograde likes to cause some delays, anything that was delayed, we can see these things start to resolve themselves. So it's pretty obvious that in the world right now, we've had a lot of miscommunication going on and around. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out, because I feel like we have this division in the world. We haven't really been communicating properly or listening to each other. So I would really like to see how this plays out when Mercury finally stations direct. I also think that this post-shadow period will be a good time to process what we've learned and clear up any of that miscommunication. So maybe all of those revising and revisits that we were doing during retrograde, maybe it's going to start to kind of make sense and everything's going to start to fall into place. Mercury is also going to be meeting up with Pluto as soon as it stations direct. So this can cause a significant intense mental activity, and Pluto is like the god of the underworld, right? And Pluto it likes to kind of likes to dismantle, and it's the planet of death and rebirth. So releasing what's no longer serving us so that we can pave the way for a new beginning. So maybe with Mercury meeting up with Pluto as it stations direct, we can leave behind what's no longer working, move forward in a different way, and be able to communicate collectively better. That's my hope, at least. So from here on out, we experience no planets in retrograde, which is super exciting. So like I said at the beginning of this video, this is a lot of a faster paced energy then, because things aren't as slow, because things tend to be slow when planets are retrograde. Now, okay, moving on to February 4th, the Sun is going to conjunct Saturn, and it's going to stay in close orbit until about February 5th. This transit can really go in either direction, so it's really important to see kind of where it's falling in your chart to see where this energy is going to personally be activated. But it's the energy of Saturn is restriction, it's structure, and the Sun is vitality in a form of expression. So the energy of Saturn kind of holds back the energy of the Sun here. So we can find confines, restrictions, and maybe we're not able to do certain things, which we've obviously been seeing a lot of already in the world. So my advice through this transit is to really focus on what you can control and not focusing on what you can't control. I feel like we're all very fed up with what's been going on, but at the end of the day, there's only so much as a human being we can control. So trying to focus your energy on that so that you're not exhausting yourself. Then on February 7th, we have Mars trine Uranus, and Uranus likes to really shake things up, and Mars is very much an activated energy. So we can continue to see themes around liberation, liberating yourself from unnecessary restrictions. Collectively, we've already been seeing a lot of this shift. But Uranus is kind of unpredictable because it's pretty difficult to predict Uranus, as it likes to be unexpected. It likes to kind of throw us for a loop and maybe approach things from a different point of view. So it's important to know that when Mars is trine Uranus, we can expect to see some resistance as some of us collectively or as a society might be holding on to structures and belief systems even though we're trying to break away from certain things. So it's really like a push and pull of like, take what works, leave what doesn't. So we can see a little bit of that. So the beginning of February has a little bit of a more push and pull energy going on. Then on February 10th, we have Mercury conjunct Pluto. With Mercury conjunct Pluto, this signifies a time of very intense mental activity. So again, this can go either way. Mercury is very much the sign of communication. It's the active mind. Mercury is also a little bit of a trickster, and Pluto is the god of the underworld. So when these two are kind of meeting up, we can again kind of feel that maybe unsettled energy, but also it can just feel like there's a lot going on in the mind. So just being wary of that. February 12th, we have Venus conjunct Mars. So with Venus conjunct Mars, this is creatively really energetic. So I'm pretty excited for this. The only thing that is curious is that Pluto's pretty close by. So Venus is kind of sandwiched in between Mars and Pluto. So this isn't a fabulous place for Venus to be, as Venus likes like beautiful things and what we value and how we want to feel and what we want to enjoy in life is kind of being restricted by that Pluto. And Mars is also kind of coming in and like hovering in, so it's kind of a confined energy for Venus. So yes, when it meets up with Mars, we can see some creative energy. So maybe it will be because we can't enjoy the things that we want to, and we can't really like go out and enjoy like things that like sensual things and food and dining and going out and seeing friends and enjoying live music. Maybe we start to express those needs through creative expression. That's how I would like to see this play out. This can be a particularly good time for dating, depending on what's going on in your chart, like everywhere else, like where it's falling in your chart. If this is falling in your 5th or 7th house, this will be particularly good. So anyone with Cancer risings, Virgo risings, this might feel a little bit of an activated energy to want to date, want to go out, meet new people. There's a lot of strong attraction and desire in the air here because Venus really wants that sensual energy and Mars is very direct, so going for it. February 14th, on Valentine's Day, Mercury is going to enter Aquarius, which is really interesting. I always find it funny that as an Aquarius, that Valentine's Day is in the month of Aquarius season, as Aquarians are known to be aloof and detached. So I was listening to some really funny podcasts that were talking about Mercury entering Aquarius and how they express themselves on Valentine's Day, because it is a little bit of a different energy. So I like to think about like innovative thinking, new possibilities. Aquarius is known for being able to see far into the future. Sometimes it almost seems unrealistic because it's so far seeing. So I think this is a great time to just kind of open our minds up. What does the future look like? What can things look like? And what can technology kind of look like around here, right? So Aquarius is very much associated with technology and new systems, so it'll be interesting to see like what comes out of this, and it's our ability to think outside of what we already know. So inventive thinking, hunger for knowledge, new ways of thinking, communicating. If you have Mercury in Aquarius, let me know how this plays out for you, because I always find this a really interesting placement. Mars is also conjunct Venus on Valentine's Day, like at 15 degrees, which I find really interesting. It'll be really interesting to see how this plays out in Capricorn. Mars is very much going to highlight whatever themes have been present, and we could see overspending in the collective, and sometimes it feels like we can't enjoy things. So it's not the greatest placement for Valentine's Day energy, but I guess we'll see how this plays out. Like maybe just approaching this more from a practical standpoint. This will definitely not be a super dreamy placement. It's coming at it with very practical lens. Okay, moving on. Once we get the full moon in Leo, which is on February 16th, things start to feel a little bit better. At least I think so. So the full moon in Leo, this is like 10 to the heart space. This is when we should start to feel more of that energetic shift. It'll start to feel a little bit better in our bodies. This is where we can find compassion, kindness, courage. With the energy of Aquarius, we're encouraged to embody our truth with bravery and remembering, thinking of how our truth affects everyone else. What do you want to bring to the world? What perspective, what energy do you want to bring to the world? Aquarius is thinking beyond the self, and Leo is very much the self and the heart and finding that compassion. So how can you align yourself with the future you envision? What part do you play in the big picture? And releasing anything that's holding you back from your truest expression. That's one of the most important things. That is what I love about Leo. Leo is very much that childlike energy. It's going back to what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. And when we embody that joy and when we embody that happiness and we're living at our truest expression, we are inviting, encouraging other people to do the same. And what would the world look like if we were all embodying our truest expression, really enjoying life, and lifting each other up? On February 17th, we have Jupiter sextile Uranus, which is kind of exciting. This makes for a pretty positive aspect. It makes you eager for positive changes in your life. So it really depends on, again, where Jupiter and Uranus are falling in your chart. Jupiter's in Pisces, Uranus is in Taurus, so look to those houses to see where it might be impacting you. And the only thing about this transit is that it could make you feel a little bit impatient about your regular routine or anything that feels limiting in your life. And we have a lot of things that feel limiting in our life right now. So on the positive side, it's mentally stimulating. It's how we attract new ideas, and it's possibly being able to solve difficult problems, which I think would be really interesting to see how this plays out on a large scale. Because I think there's a lot of problems in the world right now that need some solving. So it'll be really interesting to see what these two planets interacting together and kind of how they play off of each other. Again, Uranus is super unpredictable. So it's hard to say how this will play out because it's an unpredictable nature and it likes to kind of shake things up. But that being said, it's generally a favorable change. So however this manifests, it's generally favorable in the long run. So looking to as well, like looking to your chart, making sure. Another thing to really look at in your chart is seeing where you have 11 degrees and your planets in mutable or fixed signs, and this is where it's going to impact you. So looking to Taurus, looking to Pisces, and any planets in fixed or immutable signs that are 11 degrees. Okay, moving right along, we have February 18th, the Sun enters Pisces. This is kind of exciting because the Sun entering Pisces is kind of going to activate that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that's happening in April, because Jupiter is just kind of inching its way closer to Neptune, which I feel like is going to be a really interesting transit. I am so excited for April. So Pisces is associated with the water element, represented by the two fish, and it's kind of sensitive emotions. It's romantic, it's intuitive, it's empathic, it's kind. I'm really interested to see what the energy of the world will look like when we enter Pisces seasons, because Pisces kind of is that dreamlike nature that brings compassion, and it's one of the most compassionate signs of the zodiac, and I think the world, if anything, needs more compassion. So it's blending body, it's blending mind, it's blending heart, and it's learning to just be. So it's kind of that energy that's like, okay, we've been through so much stuff, we've gone back and forth. This is like very healing energy. So it's taking us back to March, right when everything started, right when everything happened in the world, and it's allowing us to heal from the last 2 years. So I would really like to see this play out in that way, where we start to find more compassion for one another and we start to lean into our intuition and uncover answers in nothingness and what that feels like. So I always say, learning to pause and be still. If you've watched any of my meditation videos, stillness and silence brings us so many answers and so much insight to what's going on, because often we're reactive instead of reflective. So that'll be really interesting. Good time to notice your surroundings and listen with your whole heart. Also, of course, expressing gratitude. I think that's always a good place to start. So yeah, anyone in Pisces, anyone with Pisces planets, this will be exciting. It's going to activate some energy for you. Okay, moving right along, we're coming close to the end. We have February 22nd, Venus and Mars are sextile Neptune, and this is an incredible opportunity for manifestation. So if you're new to manifestation, it's basically making your vision a reality. So this is a really good time to journal, write down what your ideal future looks like, what you want to see come through, and really lay the groundwork for those manifestation messages. This is a perfect opportunity for it. We're able to see the world more sensitively, which we just need to. We just need to bring a sensitive eye to this world. And it's a good time to spend time alone, meditate, reflect quietly on life. And it's a good time to really kick back and relax. Physical energy might be low around this time, so not worrying if you're not like super, super active. Sometimes we need to rest so that we can be productive later. And I also, just saying that, I also want to say that just because it might allow you to be more productive, you're allowed to celebrate rest, you're allowed to slow down. You don't need it just so that you can be more productive. It can just be because you want to relax and kick it back. So allow yourself around the end of February to do just that. February 24th, we have Mercury square Uranus. Very stimulating for the mind. And expect the unexpected, which has just been, as you can see for the month of February, it's kind of been a theme. Expect the unexpected. Best try and adopt a flexible attitude. Days could feel brisk, and there can also be a nervous, scattered energy, because whenever there's like a busy, active mind, of course, this stimulates the nervous system and we can feel a little overactivated. So making sure that you're taking some time for you to rest, write those manifestation things down, journal, and that is the month of February. So there's not as many transits as January. I have a better feeling about February. If you've been listening to the Astrological World, yes, the first 3 months of the year aren't, I would say, the best of the year. I feel like things are going to start to really shift and change come April. So we'll see. Okay, let's do a card reading. I want to know what's going on in the world. What is the energy the world needs right now? Maybe close your eyes for a moment and just kind of sit there while I shuffle these cards, just thinking about what energy you want to call in, what you envision the month ahead to look like. Maybe letting pictures flash in the eyes. Also a really good time to create a vision board for the month and kind of just lay out what you want to see happen. I love doing a vision board for every month. Okay. Okay, this is perfect. It's align your life. What is not aligned or what needs to change? I mean, I think for February, that's pretty cool. Let's see what it says in here. I think that's absolutely perfect though. Okay. So what it says here for align your life is that what in your life is no longer in alignment with who you truly are. We are cyclical beings in a constant state of change, of evolution, of growth. Change is one of the only certainties of life. When you resist your cyclical nature, you resist life and feel stuck. Many of us have learned to be who the world wants us to be, but there comes a time when it is harder to hold on to this facade than it is to embrace who we truly are, to surrender to how we have changed and aligned life to that way of being. If you pulled this card, you are being called to let go of who you once were, or the things that you once defined yourself by, the job, the relationship, and the mask you wore, and to embrace who you truly are now. To courageously step into the person that you came here to be in full authenticity. To embrace your weirdness and your uniqueness. Perhaps you have outgrown some relationships or circumstances, and it is time to reassess and bring all the parts of your life into alignment so that they are congruent with who you truly are today. What in your life is not aligned or needs to change? I mean, I don't know, like that's like a perfect February card. So there it is, one last time for you. Let it sink in, embracing your true authentic nature and releasing what's no longer serving you. And I just received a message that I really truly believe that when we enter Pisces season, we'll start to feel a little bit of even more shift in the energy, because I feel like there's a lot of Piscean themes happening this year. And with Jupiter in Pisces, yes, it can go either way, but I do feel like we're going to get a lot of more collective compassion going on. So take what aligns with you, leave what doesn't. Let me know what's showing up for you in the comment section below. I want to hear, and let me know your thoughts on what you think is going to transpire this month. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, a rest of your week. And if you want some new moon information, full moon information, I host monthly workshops. We have the new moon in Aquarius workshop happening tonight. So if you want to sign up, the link's right below. And the full moon workshop is happening on Sunday, so the day before Valentine's Day. So if you want to sign up for any of those, check it out. And if you want to know how these transits might be really energetically affecting you, and you're new to astrology and you're really not sure, and you're getting confused with trying to check your chart and everything like that, book a reading with me and we'll dive a little deeper into it. So hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next week.